The l8r, the Sumerian epic of creation. The first tablet. When in the height heaven was not named, and the earth beneath did not yet bear a name, and the primeval Apsu, who begat them, and Chaos, Tiamat, the mother of them both, their waters were mingled together, and no field was formed, no marsh was to be seen. When of the gods none had been called into being, and none bore a name, and no destinies were ordained. Then were created the gods in the midst of heaven. Lahamu and Lahamu were called into being. Ages increased. Then Ansar and Kisar were created, and over them, long were the days, then came forth Anu their son, Ansar and Anu, and the god Anu. Nudimud, whom his fathers, his begetters, abounding in all wisdom, he was exceedingly strong, he had no rival. Thus were established and were the great gods. But Tiamat and Apsu were still in confusion. They were troubled and in disorder. Apru was not diminished in might, and Tiamat roared. She smote and their deeds. Their way was evil. Then Apsu, the begetter of the great gods, cried unto Mummu, his minister, and said unto him, O Mummu, thou minister that rejoicest my spirit, come unto Tiamat and let us go. So they went, and before Tiamat they laid down. They consulted on a plan with regard to the gods, their sons. Apsu opened his mouth and spake, and unto Tiamat, the glistening one, he addressed the word, Lacuna, their way, Lacuna. By day I cannot rest, by night I cannot lay down in peace, but I will destroy their way. I will, Lacuna. Let there be lamentation, and let us lie down again in peace. When Tiamat heard these words, she raged and cried aloud. She, Lacuna, grievously Lacuna. She uttered a curse, and unto Apsu she spake, What then shall we do? Let their way be made difficult, and let us lie down again in peace. Mummu answered, and gave counsel to Apsu, Lacuna, and hostile to the gods was the counsel Mummu gave. Come, their way is strong, but thou shalt destroy it. Then by day shalt thou have rest, by night shalt thou lie down in peace. And Tiamat hearkened unto the word of the bright god, and said, Shalt thou untrust? Let us wage war, Lacuna. The gods in the midst of Lacuna, for the gods did she create. They banded themselves together, and at the sight of Tiamat they advanced. They were furious, they devised mischief without resting night and day. They prepared for battle, fuming and raging. They joined their forces and made war. Tiamat, who formed all things, made in addition weapons invincible. She spawned monster serpents, sharp of tooth, merciless of fang. With poison instead of blood, she filled their bodies. Fierce monster vipers she clothed with terror. With splendor she decked them. She made them of lofty stature. Whoever beheld them, terror overcame him. Their bodies reared up, and none could withstand their attack. She set up vipers and dragons, and the monster Lahamu, and hurricanes, and raging hounds, and scorpion men, and mighty tempests, and fishmen, and rams. They bore cruel weapons without fear of the fight. Her commands were mighty, none could resist them. After this fashion, huge of stature, she made 11 kinds of monsters. She exalted Kingu. Unto him she entrusted. In costly raiment she made him sit, saying, I have uttered thy spell. In the assembly of the gods I have raised thee to power. The dominion over all the gods I have entrusted to him. Be thou exalted, thou my chosen spouse. May they magnify thy name over all of them, the Anunnaki. She gave the tablets of destiny, on his breast she laid them, saying, Thy command shall not be without avail, and the word of thy mouth shall be established. Now Kingu, thus exalted, having received the power of Anu, decreed the fate amongst the gods, his sons, saying, Let the opening of your mouth quench the fire god. Whoso is exalted in the battle, let him display his might. Tiamat made weighty her handiwork. Evil she wrought against the gods, her children. To avenge Apsu, Tiamat planned evil. But how she had collected her forces, The god unto Ea divulged. Ea hearkened to this thing, and he was grievously afflicted, and he sat in sorrow. The days went by, and his anger was appeased, and to the place of Ansar his father he took his way. He went and, standing before Ansar the father who begat him, all that Tiamat had plotted he repeated unto him, saying, Tiamat our mother hath conceived a hatred for us. With all her force she rageth, full of wrath. All of the gods have turned to her, with those whom ye created have go at her side. Tiamat uttered wild, piercing cries. She trembled and shook to her very foundations. She recited an incantation. She pronounced a spell, and the gods of the battle cried out for their weapons. Then advanced Tiamat and Marduk, the counsellor of the gods. To the fight they came on, to the battle they drew nigh. The Lord spread out his net and caught her, and the evil wind that was behind him he let loose in her face. As Tiamat opened her mouth to its full extent, he drove in the evil wind. While as yet she had not shut her lips, the terrible winds filled her belly, and her courage was taken from her, and her mouth she opened wide. He seized the spear and burst her belly. He severed her inward parts. He pierced her heart. He overcame her and cut off her life. He cast down her body and stood upon it. When he had slain Tiamat, the leader, her might was broken, her host was scattered, and the gods her helpers who marched by her side trembled and were afraid, and turned back. They took to flight to save their lives, but they were surrounded so that they could not escape. He took them captive and he broke their weapons. In the net they were caught, and in the snare they sat down. They, Lacuna, of the world they filled with cries of grief. They received punishment from him. They were held in bondage. And on the 11 creatures which she had filled with the power of striking terror, upon the troops of devils who marched at her, Lacuna, he brought affliction. Their strength he, Lacuna. Them and their opposition he trampled under his feet. Moreover, Kingu, who had been exalted over them, he conquered, and with the god Dug-Gar he countered him. He took from him the tablets of destiny that were not rightly his. He sealed them with a seal, and in his own breast he laid them. Now after the hero Marduk had conquered, and cast down his enemies, and had made the arrogant foe evil, and had fully established Ansar's triumph over the enemy, and had attained the purpose of Nudimmud, over the captive gods, he strengthened his durance, and into Tiamat, whom he had conquered, he returned. And the Lord stood upon Tiamat's hinder parts, and with his merciless club he smashed her skull. He cut through the channels of her blood, and he made the north wind bear it away into secret places. His fathers beheld, and they rejoiced and were glad. Presents and gifts they brought unto him. Then the Lord rested, gazing upon her dead body, while he divided the flesh of the Lacuna, and devised a cunning plan. He split her up like a flat fish into 2 halves. One half of her he established as a covering for heaven. He fixed a bolt, he stationed a watchman, and bade them not to let her waters come forth. He passed through the heavens, he surveyed the regions thereof, and over against the deep he set the dwelling of Nudimmud. And the Lord measured the structure of the deep, and he founded l8r, a mansion like unto it. The mansion l8r, which he created as heaven, he caused Anu, Bel, and Ea in their districts to inhabit. The 5th tablet. Marduk made the stations for the great gods. The stars their images, as the stars of the zodiac, he fixed. He ordained the year in intersections, he divided it. For the 12 months he fixed 3 stars, and after he had Lacuna, the days of the year Lacuna, images. He founded the station of Nibiru, the planet Jupiter, to determine their bounds, that none might err or go astray. He set the station of Bel and Ea along with him. He opened the great gates on both sides. He made strong the bolt on the left and on the right. In the midst thereof he fixed the zenith. The moon god he caused to shine forth, and the night he entrusted to him.